Ladies and gentlemen, it's Siadwel.
Siadwel, you're all wet again.
Whoa. I haven't started yet. The story is called Births, Deaths and Marriages, but mostly deaths. And actually no marriages. And no births either, come to think of it, so... Deaths. There we are, good, that's the title sorted out. We can get on with it now. OK, I went to a funeral today. Somebody I know who fell into a vat of grease at work. And they did everything they could to save him, but he just slipped away. Oh. Go on, no. Yeah, no, that's what they all said. And when somebody's died, it's traditional, isn't it, to send flowers? But I thought, for a change, I'll send a box of chocolates instead. With a note saying, hope you enjoy these chocolates at this difficult time. Nobody mentioned them at the funeral, but I did notice that his wife looked quite upset. So she'd probably eaten them all in one go, was feeling sick. There we are. Anyway, after the funeral, I popped round to see Nan, because she hasn't been well. She's been having terrible trouble, you know, with molluscs. Shellfish, you know, all over her body, everywhere. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, she went to the doctor, and he gave her a tube of anti-winkle cream. Oh. Brilliant, did the trick. Fantastic. No, the NHS. The NHS is marvellous. I know they've had a lot of stick for all sorts of things, but, well, I mean, I did hear that the Dimas Muggy Hospital near us... Yeah, the Dimas Muggy near us was treating people with hemorrhoids. I don't know how you're supposed to take them, with a glass of water or what. It doesn't sound right, does it, really? But when it comes to Nan, we got no complaints. Anyway, there was Nan, just cutting something out of an old Welshman on the kitchen table. No, she likes to keep the interesting bits before she gets rid of them, you know. This is a newspaper, by the way, not an actual Welshman. Oh, made Nan sound like a murderer there. Although she did kill Grandad. Several times, actually. But he had one of those heart pacemakers and he just kicked in and he jumped straight back up again, right as rain, you know. Actually, it's interesting because he was actually one of the first people in Wales to be fitted with a pacemaker. And it was really quite powerful. In fact, I think it was the reconditioned unit of a tractor or something. Yeah, in fact, between you and me, I think the pacemaker was a bit too powerful, really, because it affected the electrical appliances in the house as well. You know, if Grandad was looking out the window and an attractive lady went past, it'd switch the hoover on. And you could see the hoover pipe rise up into the air and go all stiff. And it'd be like that for a good half hour before it went floppy again, you know. And that was it then. You'd get no more suction out of it for the rest of the day. And it worked the other way around as well. If you switched the hoover on, Grandad would throw himself on the floor and start sucking the carpet. So Nan did a lot of hoovering, as you can imagine. No, they didn't get on. One of Nan's friends said to her, why don't you get a model of Grandad and stick pins in it? And Nan said, why bother with the model? That's how bad it was, you know. But I thought Grandad was great. But I could see why Nan was fed up with him. He told me once, he said, Siadwel, the thing is, I love women. All of them. Except possibly the spleen. Not too sure about that. I must say, I'm not too sure about the spleen either, mainly because I don't know what it is, actually, you know. But anyway, that's the sort of thing Nan had to put up with. But not anymore, because Grandad is dead now. He had an autoimmune disease. He's immune to cars. No, they had absolutely no effect on him. He'd get in a taxi would drive off, but Grandad would still be there, standing in the road. But this funeral was incredible. The coffin was carried by 6 dirty old men wearing freshly soiled raincoats. And they were surrounded by 12 dirty old men carrying large potted shrubs. Oh, you could hardly see the coffin. And that's exactly how Grandad would have wanted it, because there was nothing he liked more than hiding in the bushes in the park. Yeah. Although I noticed when I did get a glimpse of the coffin, I noticed there was a big padlock on it. So, Nan not taking any chances, you know. And in the eulogy then, when the vicar was saying how Grandad had touched so many people's lives. Yeah. No, Nan couldn't help shouting out, he touched a lot more than their lives. But let's not go into that, you know. And, you know, I don't think I've ever seen so many dirty old men in my life. In fact, you could hardly hear the service for the rustling of the Macs. You know. And they were Grandad's peer group. Used to go around at night, peering in through people's windows. No, Grandad told me once how amazing it is, all the different ways people react when they realise that 60 old men are watching them get undressed. Because Grandad was very gregarious. I don't mean he was always buying baps and sausage rolls and that, you know. No, he knew a lot of people. I mean, years ago, he was involved with the Welsh National Eisteddfod. And you know how the Eisteddfod's very innovative. You know, they always want to do something new, something they haven't done before. Well, it was Grandad who said, why not do the whole thing on ice? Put the ice in Eisteddfod. And they did it years ago, but some of you might remember, it's that very hot summer. So, unfortunately, the ice melted, but there we are. But to be fair, nobody'd ever drowned at the Eisteddfod before, so that was a first. Oh. Yeah, he had a finger in lots of pies, Grandad. Not just his finger, either. And not just pies. Yeah. He was a great man. No, he used to look after me sometimes when I was very little. We'd go to the park, Hyde Park. It's not his... Yeah, no, Hyde Park. Not its real name, but everyone called it that because of all the old men who were hiding in the undergrowth. Oh. You know. Anyway, he'd say to me, Siadwel, I just got to go off and do something. So if you'd like to sit on this bench for 4 hours, I'll be back then. So I'd sit there and eat my bag of Gwilym's lung and octopus flavoured crisps. Well, you know, it was either that or a packet of shepherd's scratchings, you know. I didn't like them. They made my mouth itch, you know. This one day, I saw a policeman in the park, PC Dip, Herbert Dip. I thought, oh, there's Grandad's friend. Because I know he was always popping round to see Grandad. So I thought, well, I'll go and find Grandad and tell him. So off I went. And there was a man behind the rhododendron, Mr. Shattuck, one of Grandad's friends. I said, have you seen Grandad? He said, no, Siadwel, I haven't seen him. But then that is the whole idea, isn't it? Anyway, before I could find Grandad, the worst thing imaginable happened. I tore a hole in my balaclava on the brambles. And I panicked then. I thought, oh, no. If Mum sees me like this, I'll have to stay in my room forever. Or longer than that, quite possibly. I mean, I know years later, when I was a teenager, I spent a lot of time in my room then. Mostly because the wardrobe had fallen in front of the door, but, you know. But I didn't mind so much. That's the point. Anyway, I stopped to collect my thoughts. Didn't take very long. And quite a lot of them weren't mine anyway, so... I thought, I know, I'll ask Nan to sew up the hole. So I went round, and there was Nan flicking through a Welshman. No, the newspaper, you know, not, oh, you know. Anyway, on the front page, very interesting story. A Llanidloes man who'd been given a fortnight to live by his doctor had chosen the first 2 weeks of August, so he wouldn't have to... wouldn't have to cancel his holidays. No, because people take their holidays very seriously. You know, a lot of people go to Rhyl. And after that, they need a holiday, so they go to Swansea, then. Oh. Yeah, anyway, Nan sewed up the hole in my balaclava and I went home, but when I got home, I couldn't take my balaclava off. Nan had sewed it to my head. So I had to show it to Mum then. She was in the garden hanging out the washing and she had a look and said, oh, yes. Oh, she made a lovely, neat job of it. Seems a pity to unpick it, really. So we'll leave it there, shall we? So I spent the rest of my childhood with a balaclava on, till it eventually rotted away when I reached puberty. So there we are. But I was so relieved not to be in trouble that I relaxed then. And because Mum was putting the washing out, I said, Mum, how do you know when to put the washing out? You know, what with the weather and that? And she said, oh, well, if Mrs. Davis next door has got her washing out, I know it's all right. So I went round then and asked Mrs. Davis how she knew when to put the washing out. She said, oh, I look out the window, and if Mrs. Jenkins 2 doors down has got her washing out, I know it's all right. So I went to see Mrs. Jenkins, and she said, oh, I look out the window, and if Mrs. Edwards in the end house has got her washing out, I know it's all right. And he just went on, right the way across Swansea. Then Britton Ferry, Port Talbot, Bridgend, all the way to Cardiff. And it stopped then, because there was a lady there with a tumble dryer. It's true. It's true. Honest. Yeah, anyway, right across Wales, and there's a line of women putting out their washing. It's the washing line. Oh, go on, oh. Anyway, when somebody dies, let's get back to the subject now. When somebody dies, quite often people plant a tree or something in their memory, don't they? Oh, we did for Grandad, obviously. Nan wasn't interested, but Uncle Nog helped out. Because Grandad loved things that grow, you know. I'd go round, there he'd be at the bottom of the garden, hard at it with his dibber. He knew what he was doing. No, his next-door neighbour told me once he spent an entire afternoon trying to stimulate her clematis. And she had to admit, by the time he'd finished, it had really perked up, you know. No, he was always up for something he hadn't done before. He said to me once, he said, Siadwel, listen, if you ever get the chance, try Lily of the Valley in the same bed as Creeping Jenny. Spectacular. Anyhow, before he died, we asked him what he'd like, and he thought about it. He said, well, of all of them, I think I like hazel best. A magnificent bush. Apart from a slightly regrettable tendency to produce canker on the nuts. So that's how we remembered him. So Uncle Nog the other day, he was in town shopping for his wife. Got a nice one too, very reasonable. No, because his first wife died in tragic circumstances. No, it was awful, awful. They'd been on holiday to Rhyl. And she never recovered. Yeah, so there we are. That's a fair few deaths. No sign of Nan going, though. She's heard that fish oil is very good for you, so she rubs it on every day. No, I make sure I see her a lot. I smell her a lot as well, that's another point. No, I check she's okay. I saw her this afternoon, as a matter of fact. I popped in, there she was, looking at Catherine Zeta-Jones on the back of an old Welshman. Not the newspaper, an actual Welshman. No, I'm joking. There's a picture on the back page. But I was more interested in the story on the front page, as a matter of fact. It said, Wales's fattest man, who died 18 months ago, but was too big for them to nail down the top of his coffin, had at last lost enough weight for them to shut the lid. His family said they were glad to have closure. But I knew him. Ponty Thomas. Although his parents actually called him Ponty Thomas after Pontypridd, where he was born. But because he had adenoids, he always pronounced it with a nasal mutation. Ponty Thomas. But no, he loved sweets. That's why he was so big. And soft drinks he liked, with loads of sugar, you know. I mean, whenever you saw him, he was drinking a can of Coke. That's the Gwilym's fizzy drink made out of coal, not the other one. No, because it's only recently, isn't it, that they discovered that sugar's so bad for you? You know, it's like cigarettes. Years ago, nobody knew they were harmful. The man who worked at the petrol station, Thomas the Tank. 27 times he blew himself up. Didn't realise it was smoking that was causing it, you know. Anyhow, I went to Ponty Thomas's funeral, and he'd asked to be buried in the middle of the A470, just outside Cardiff. And it was a lovely funeral. They dug up the road, and there was a man directing traffic with one of those stop-go lollipop signs, which was bilingual. I hadn't seen one of those before. It said stop on one side and stop you on the other. Anyway, he was laid to rest. And if you are going along the A470 and you see a roundabout that wasn't there before, that's probably him. That's it. Cheerio. OK, got a few more stories now from the Welshman, if you'd like to hear them. Yeah. Oh. So here goes, the first one. A great wholemeal shark, similar to a great white, but healthier, caused panic in Swansea Bay today when it approached a tourist floating on a lilo bed. However, rescuers said it wasn't a serious attack and the shark was only pulling his leg. Oh. Here's another story now. A Llanelli company called You Know Where You Can Stick It, who repair broken matchsticks by sticking them back together again, has been forced to close. They were told that match fixing is illegal. Last one now, last one. There was a man in Swansea who had such bad athlete's foot, he spent the night with his foot in the freezer, you know, to relieve the itching. We got frostbite. Doctor said, we'll have to cut off some of your toes. And the man said, no, anything but that. Take my leg off if you like. But don't take away my toes. The doctor said, why can't I remove your toes? The man said, I'm lactose intolerant. OK, back to the stories now. This story is called Shopping. Uncle Nog was losing his hair a bit at the front. Receding hairline, you know. So he got some stuff from the chemist and it said on the bottle that it was guaranteed to reverse hair loss. And it did. He started losing it from the back instead. Yeah. Warren, it was called. Yes, because with a warren you get lots of rabbits, but from a distance they look a lot like hares, so... No, as a matter of fact, I had a scalp-related problem just recently, so I went to the chemist myself. I said to Mr. Bynon, the chemist, I said, my scalp is very itchy, very, very itchy, but only in one place. He had a look. He said, oh, yes, I can see what the problem is. You've got lots of little white eggs, and they're all stuck to just one hair on your head. I said, what is it, Mr. Bynon? He said, it's a close-knit community. Yeah, so he gave me some stuff, but they give advice as well, don't they, chemists? I asked him once, I said, Mr. Bynon, what would you recommend for wind? He said, oh, anywhere on Cardigan Bay, really. Another time, when my girlfriend Gravel had quite bad congestion, I went in and I said, what have you got that's a bit stronger than Vic? He said, well, they go Vic, Vicar, Vicist. You probably want Vicar. So when I got home, I told Gravel to rub the Vicar on her chest. And she really perked up then, so then... No, yes, I've had quite a lot of advice from Mr. Bynon over the years. Once I said to him, it's a funny name, isn't it, for a shopkeeper? Bynon. You know, selling things. Bynon. You know, perhaps you should change it to Mr. Buy Some. Then you'd sell more things. Oh. And then he gave me some advice. He said, Siadwel, I'm going to recommend some exercises for you. Every day, as often as you can, try not to say anything stupid. Another shop I was always going in when I was little was the greengrocer's, because I like fruit. Bananas are my favourite, you know. But this one day, there was something wrong. I went back, and I said to the greengrocer, excuse me, where's my free spider? He said, what? I said, there's usually a big spider in a bunch of bananas, but there wasn't one there today. Have you stopped doing it? No, I liked getting the spiders because they were company for my pet fly, Biggles. I called him that because he could fly, obviously. And I do know, that spiders and flies don't usually get on, but I thought perhaps through me setting a good example, they might learn to live together in an atmosphere of mutual respect. I know now I was wrong. I left them playing, and I think perhaps everybody got a bit overexcited because when I came back, half of Biggles had gone. Yeah, changed his name after that to Not Quite So Big. Yeah, I told all this to the greengrocer. He was very sympathetic. He said, well, you know, look on the bright side. He could play rugby now. Oh, I had to laugh. No, so I had to think of the position he was playing in. I thought, oh, yes. Because he's always cracking jokes, Mr. Lemon, the greengrocer. Jock Lemon. He's Scottish, from Fife, where the bananas come from, you know. And as he says, with a name like that, he was either going to be a greengrocer or a comedian, so he thought, why not do both? You know, here's one of his jokes now. Why are oranges popular? Because they've got appeal. Oh, oh, no, here's another one. Knock, knock. Who's there? I've a grape. I've a grape who? You've a grape poo. There must be something wrong with you. Go and see the doctor. Oh. No, I was in the shop once and the Reverend Harry Lawyer came in. You know, the vicar of St. You know. And he, of course, he's got a biblical quote for everything. So as he was in the greengrocers, he said, Matthew, chapter 7, verse 20, by their fruits shall you know them. And Mr. Lemon said, that's right, Reverend. If you want to know the character of a man, check his plums. He actually started off working in an office, Mr. Lemon did, but he told me that one day he was just passing a greengrocer's shop and the delivery man asked if he could give him a hand. And that was a life-changing experience because, as he says, once you've taken the prize cucumber in the back entrance... you're never going to be able to sit behind a desk all day again. Oh. So he's a greengrocer now. Yeah. And when it's really busy, he's helped out by Mel and Sue. That's... Not the popular TV presenters, but a rather well-endowed lady from Gosainen, you know. No, she's very nice. She's lovely. Mr. Lemon likes her because he married her, you know. Fantastic wedding ring she got. 24 carats, obviously. Oh, here's another story Mr. Lemon told me. I'll just tell you this now. He was in a restaurant once, and there was a fly in his soup. But he didn't mention it to the waiter. He just quietly took the fly out. And when the bill came, he paid for his food and put the fly on top of the money. The waiter said, what are you doing? And Mr. Lemon said, I'm fly tipping. No, I don't know if it's true or not with Mr. Lemon. You just can't tell, you know. Oh. Ah, well, there's been a lot of talk over the last few years, hasn't there, about something called a moral compass. So I thought I'd get one. Yeah, man in the shop explained how it works. He said the needle of the moral compass always points away from Rill. So, next time I had a moral dilemma, which was I'd got a bag of Gwillim's spicy intestine-flavoured crisps. Should I share them with somebody else? Because on the one hand, it's nice to share, but on the other hand, the crisps are really nasty. But on the other hand... That's 3 hands now, isn't it? Can I borrow your hand? Thank you very much. You've got nice hands. Have you ever worked in a massage parlour? Anyway, back to the moral dilemma of the spicy intestine-flavoured crisps. On the one hand, sharing's nice. On the other hand, the crisps aren't nice. But on the other hand, the person I'd be sharing them with is Gary Price. I don't like him. So I got the moral compass out, followed the instructions, went in the direction of the needle, which always points away from Rill. I ended up in Swansea Bay, but at least I knew I was doing the right thing, you know. And it solved the problem, because my crisp bag filled with water and some eels at the crisps, so there we are. Talking of eels, there's a man in Swansea who's got a van with a tank of eels in the back. Eels on wheels, I suppose. No, and I think he's a hippie, because all the eels do all day long is lie about in their tank smoking cannabis. And I asked him why they did it. He said, oh, it makes them very popular with the ladies. I said, what do you mean? He said, use your imagination, Siadwel. Saturday night, you go in somewhere smart, you want to look great. What does a lady want? I said, I don't know. He said, a pair of high heels. Mind you, one time I did see the eels doing something different. There was music playing, and the eels were all in a line, wriggling around the tank. I said, what's going on? He said, oh, it's the conga. Oh, of course, Gravel, my girlfriend, she absolutely loves shopping, and her favourite thing in the world is cheap ornaments, you know. She's got a Prince of Wales mug with 2 handles, one for each ear, you know. Anyway, she was in a souvenir shop, and they'd got a doll in traditional Welsh costume who's just eaten a kebab, and when you pull a string in her back, she's violently sick. And Gravel really wanted this to go in a collection of dolls in traditional Welsh costume doing traditional Welsh things, you know. But she didn't have any money on her. So she had a word with the man. What they agreed was that in exchange for him fondling her bosom, she could have the traditional Welsh doll she wanted. It was tit for tat. Oh, go on. Go on, here we are. Oh. Anyway, the other day I was in the chemist again. I was looking at the deodorants and wondering if fragrance-free meant it didn't have a fragrance, or it did have a fragrance, but you didn't have to pay for it, you know. Anyway, these 2 ladies came in looking for cough medicine, but they were looking on the wrong shelf. And Mr. Bynan was busy with another customer, so I thought, well, I'll help him out, give him a bit of advice, like Mr. Bynan would, you know. So I picked up a bottle of cough mixture, and I said, here you are. That's the one you want? And they said, are you sure? So I pointed to the label and I said, for cough, see? And they just turned round and walked out. I thought, well, that's rude. Then Mr. Bynan came over and said, Siadwel, no need for language in here. So I didn't say anything. And he said, what are you thinking of just then? I thought, he doesn't want me to use language, so I'll mime it. So I held up 2 fingers to indicate the 2 ladies, and he said, right, that's enough. Go out now, Siadwel, and don't come back in. So I went, and I'll go now. Oh, no, before I go, I must just tell you, as I was coming out of the shop, I saw these 2 blokes, and one of them I know. And the one I know was wearing this extraordinary costume with bits sticking out and other bits going in, and all of it with water going on the edge. But his friend was just wearing ordinary clothes. I said, what are you doing? He said, oh, we're going to a fancy dress party. I'm the South Wales coast, and this is Barry. That's it, cheerio.
Siadwel was written and performed by John Sparks and produced by Pete Baker. It was an Absolutely production for BBC Radio Wales.
Oh, Siadwel, you are hopeless.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Siadwel.
Oh, Siadwel, you're all wet again.
Hello. Oh, it's nice that there's somebody there. This story's called Nan versus Grandad. After 27 years of hard work, the old ladies of Swansea have finally finished embroidering a tapestry, charting the last 27 years of what's been happening where they've been sitting, embroidering a tapestry. It's called the Bayeux Tapestry. Oh, go on. Oh, yeah. No, my nan was one of those old ladies, because she's very good at embroidery, Nan. In fact, when Grandad went travelling around Europe with his friends, she embroidered, do you want a knuckle sandwich on the back of his duffel coat? In all the European languages he didn't speak, which was all of them. No, because they didn't get on, as most of you know, they didn't get on. But she still wears her engagement ring. No, because she's quite sentimental about the stone, because it had only been taken out of her kidney the week before. So, it meant a lot. I asked her once, what was it like being engaged to Grandad? And she thought about it for a minute and said, like being in an engaged toilet cubicle. A few minutes of strenuous activity, then he gets up and walks away, leaving me flushed. I didn't really know what she meant, but she was very bitter about Grandad. But I thought he was great. I really liked him, because he used to walk me to and from school when I was little, and on the way back we'd get a bag of cockles from Rip Van Winkle's Winkle van, you know. And he'd tell me stories from his life. Because when he came to Swansea, he said, all he had was the shirt on his back. And someone said, well, you get a pair of trousers as well? Well, what a difference that made. Suddenly, he could go to the park without being stopped by the police. Oh, it was Grandad I talked to when my pet tortoise died. Because it's very sad, even though the death wasn't unexpected. It's what usually happens when your dad reverses a van over a tortoise. He got another one. Don't know why, there was nothing wrong with the van. No. He was just a terrible driver. He reversed the van over himself once. But Grandad, he told me the truth about my pet tortoise. He told me that he wasn't actually a tortoise. He was a miner's helmet. Felt a little bit better then after that. Well, I learned a lot from Grandad. Learned how to use the telephone. This was when I was a bit older now. Although the first phone call I made, I was a bit worried I might get an asthma attack, like he always did when he phoned someone. You know, we start breathing heavily into the mouthpiece. Couldn't get a word out. But it didn't happen to me anyhow. So I picked up the phone and dialed, and a man answered, and I said, "Hello, can I speak to Gav, please?" And he said, "Nobody here called Gav, you've got the wrong number." And I said, "No, you've got the wrong number, because if you had the right number, I'd be speaking to Gav now." And he said, no, the number you've rung is wrong, all right? I said, "Well, why'd you answer it then?" He said, "Because it was ringing. I didn't know it was wrong, it rang, and then I found out." And I said, "So it was ringing anyway?" He said, No, it was ringing because you'd rung wrong, and that's why it rang. And I said, oh, right, I think I get it, but tell me if I'm wrong. Before I rang, it was right, but when I rang, it was wrong. So it went wrong while I was ringing. Am I right or wrong? If I'm wrong, I'm sorry I rang. He said, "What number do you want?" I said, "Gav's number." He said, "Well, what is Gav's number?" I said, "I don't know what his number is. That's why I was phoning him to find out." He said, "I don't think it's my number that's wrong. It's you. It's not right." Well, just then somebody knocked on the front door and I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I just got to get that. Can you call me back in 5 minutes?" He never did. He never did. And who do you think was at the front door? It was Gav. Oh, yeah, he wanted to borrow a book, but we hadn't got one. Yeah. He went off then, and I forgot to ask him for his phone number, and I still don't know what it is. Oh, so if somebody phones you up and wants to speak to Gav, it's probably me. Do you know the speaking clock on the phone used to be called Tim? Well, I'm pretty sure they got that idea from something we already had in Wales. Twm, the postal clock. Yeah. And what it was, if you wanted to know the time, you'd write to Twm, "Dear Twm, can you tell me what the time is, please? Yours sincerely, Siadwel," or whatever your name was. And you'd enclose a postload of a 1 and 6 postal letter. A few days later, you got a letter back saying, "Dear Siadwel, it's just gone 2:30. Yours sincerely, Tom. Brilliant, brilliant. And after that, then, if anyone asked me the time, I could show them the letter and say, "It's just gone 2:30. Then, I met someone else with a letter from Tom, and his letter said it was only 1:25. But I think what it was, he'd had his letter quite a long time, so it was probably a bit slow. There we are. Anyway, they don't do it anymore, so that's that. No, thinking about it, I probably learned more from Grandad than I did from going to school. The things I learned at school, I can count on one hand, not more than 6 or 7 things, I'm sure. Yeah. It was too complicated. I came out the classroom knowing less than when I went in. Perhaps that's why they're called lessons. I don't know. No, I don't think Miss was very fond of me, because if Miss liked your work, she'd stick a gold star in your book, but I never got a gold star. Until one day, when Miss was doing the marking, and I saw her stick something in my book. And I went, yes! And at the end of the lesson, I got my book back. And I opened up my book, and there in my book was a big grey bogey. No, she didn't like me. The thing I ever did impressed her. I wrote a poem once, didn't have to, I just wrote it. I'll recite it to you now, here we are. It's called School. The school bell is ringing. Zzz. Zzz. Thank you very much. Oh no, hang on, I forgot the last line. Oh. Zzz. There we are, that's it. Miss didn't like it. I had to go and stand outside then. And outside really did mean outside. I had to leave the classroom, leave the school, leave Wales, and stand on the hard shoulder on the English side of the Severn Bridge. No, I think she deliberately used to try to catch me out as well. One time she said, Siadwel, how many feet in a yard? I said, miss, all depends. She said, depends on what, Siadwel? I said, on whether it's playtime or not, miss. Miss said, don't try to be clever, Siadwel. I thought that was the whole point of going to school, but never mind. You know. And then before Miss could say anything else, the girl sitting next to me was violently sick into her desk. And the girl's name was Henrietta Sausage. No, she was always being sick, Henrietta Sausage. I think it's because she was a vegetarian, and whenever she thought of her name, she threw up. Well, there were a lot of people with odd names in my school. In the year above me, there was a girl called Penny Farthing. But that worked out all right, because she was very keen on cycling and went to work for the Welsh Bicycle Wheel Association. She was their spokeswoman. Oh, go on. But, you know, we do have to be careful what you call your children. Just up the road from us, there was a family called the Widges. The Widges, they had 2 children, Samuel and Susan. So we used to call them Sandwich and Sewage. Which is not very nice. Another boy with an odd name was Ivor Orr. Niver, we called him, because he could never make his mind up about anything. You know, Gary Price would say to him, do you want a Chinese burn or a dead leg? Because he... Yeah. And because he couldn't decide, he didn't get either of them. Gary Price just gave up with him. He said to me once, he said, Siadwel, I can't work with him. He drives me mad. And I said, oh, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Oh, and by the way, I'll have a Chinese burn today, please, Gary. Yeah. Anyway, after we'd left school and grown up, I used to see Niver sometimes around Swansea, but things didn't go right for him. Didn't go right. They didn't go wrong for him either. It just didn't happen. Because he could never make a decision about anything, so nothing ever happened to him. Ever. And the last time I saw him was a couple of years ago. And he was living rough, halfway up St David's Passage. And we had a chat. I tried to cheer him up. I said, things might improve, you know, there's always hope. He said, no. No, he said, any hopes I might have had have been destroyed by living in St David's Passage. It's rectum, he said. All right, let's talk about something else. When we all went up to big school, St Adolph's, there was a problem. You had to wear long trousers. And I hadn't got any long trousers. Gary Price was all right. He just carried on wearing short trousers, because he's so short on him, they were long trousers, you know. But I hadn't got long trousers, so Mam borrowed a pair from Mr Jenkins up the road, who, unfortunately, had lost a leg during the war. But it was okay, no, because the trouser leg that wasn't sewn up was quite wide. So as long as I took very small steps, I was all right. And you know what they say, everybody should walk 10,000 steps a day to stay healthy. Well, I did that when I just going to the bus stop at the end of the road. And then when I got to school, I was punished for not wearing correct uniform, because the rules said you were supposed to wear a pair of trousers, and I was only wearing one. No, the headmaster was very keen on punishment. Citizen Kane, his nickname was. With him, it was carrot and stick. Depending on what you'd done, you were caned either with a carrot or a stick. Anyway, at the end of my first day, I tell you, I knew what a lady wearing a tight dress felt like. And so I said that to Grandad. He said, yeah. He knew what a lady wearing a tight dress felt like as well. No, he knew a lot about ladies, Grandad. And the other thing he knew about was gardening. Because as he said to me, Siadwel, ladies like flowers, so I grow lots of flowers. Then when I'm with a lady, I can give her one. No, he was really interested in horticulture, Grandad. In fact, he was really interested in horticulture as well, but we won't go into that. And he was very imaginative. He liked his planting to tell a story. One time I went down, he said, here we are, Siadwel, have a look at this. Here's a nice big bed of pansies. And there in the corner is Sweet William, just touching a buttercup. He was on the members' committee of the local horticultural society as well. And the chairman came round this one day, and he was showing off because his garden was about 50 times bigger than Grandad's, you know, and he said, well, nice little lawn. How long does it take to mow that? 20 minutes? Grandad said, yeah, about 20 minutes. And the chairman said, my lawn? It takes me 4 hours to mow that. And Grandad said, yeah. I had a lawnmower like that too, but I got rid of it. No, you couldn't get one over on Grandad unless you were Nan, of course, unless you were Nan. And they had very different ideas about gardens. For Grandad, a garden was a place to grow things. For Nan, it was a place to hang out the washing. Because Nan took her washing very, very seriously. And her ironing. Well, she was on the ironing board for Wales, you know. Yeah. In fact, Nan was so obsessed with doing laundry that whenever she went into a clothes shop, she'd say to the assistant, "I'd like to buy some more washing, please." No, if it wasn't raining, they'd be washing on the line. And if it was raining, they'd be washing on the clothes horse. And actually, that was the only point where Nan and Grandad's interests met. Because Grandad used to spread the manure from the clothes horse on his roses. I wrote a poem about Nan and her washing. It's called Hanging Out the Washing on a Windy Day. Very short, it's a haiku. Here we are, here it is. Stretching up to stop, a shirt blowing off the line. Nan blows off instead. Yeah, and the force of it blew the top off Grandad's red-hot poker. That's it, cheerio. Hey. Yeah, you know, there have been some great stories in the Welshman over the last 12 months. And I thought you might like to hear a few more of them. Yeah. Thanks. So here goes, the first one. Acknowledging the effects of traffic pollution, Gwilym's Savoury Products of Swansea have launched a range of preserves made entirely out of fruit grown next to busy main roads. The new product's called Traffic Jam. OK, here's another one. A race between two hospital porters to see who could get to the hospital first to ask out a nurse they both fancied ended in tragedy after one of them had a fatal heart attack and collapsed on top of the other one at the doors of the A&E department. Doctors said he was dead on arrival. Oh, this is quite sad, actually, this one. A Prestatyn man who visited a garden centre every weekend for 15 years to buy garden furniture, but couldn't make up his mind if he preferred deck chairs or sun loungers, has separated from his wife. She said she was fed up with him sitting on the fence. Oh. Actually, I think my favourite feature in the Welshman is History Corner. And this is a little story that I enjoyed most over the last 12 months. It is. Hundreds of years ago, in Carmarthen in West Wales, someone in the town was going around wiping his bottom on things he shouldn't. Windows, sleeping pensioners, pet rabbits. He even wiped it on the famous oak tree in the town centre. And nobody knew who the culprit was until one day they found out. And everyone was so angry, they chased him through the town. And when they caught him, this was a long time ago, when they caught him, they killed him and cooked him in a pie. And that's the story of the pied wiper of Carmarthen. Oh, go on. OK, back to the stories now. This is called Modern Times. A man up the road from us, his waterbed burst and flooded the bedroom. He had to spend the night on top of the wardrobe. He said he soon dropped off. No, you said that wouldn't have happened with an old-fashioned bed. Here's a story from the Welshman. Now, a man from Neath, who wanted to know the voltage of his electric kettle, spent 10 years digging a series of tunnels below the town centre after he was told to look underneath. I mean, that's stupid. No, that is stupid, you know. Convenience foods, that's another modern thing. Gwilym's savoury products have started doing boil in the bag. Although why anyone would want to eat the pus-filled swelling in a bag is beyond me, quite honestly, you know. That's modern. Raspberry rip-off. Raspberry rip-off, that's another one they do. And when people complain that there's no raspberries in it, Gwilym's just say, yeah, it's a rip-off. It's what you paid for, isn't it? No, because he knows how to make money, does Billy Gwilym. Yeah, he wrote a letter to his staff. I'll read it to you now. I have recently bought myself a small yacht. And if you work exceptionally hard, spend as little time as possible on holiday, and take no days off work for any reason at all, including if you're ill, in 5 years' time, I'll be able to buy myself an even bigger one. Yeah, that's Billy Gwilym. Gary Price, mind. Gary Price. He's another one who knows how to make money. financial sector he's involved with, which is another modern thing, isn't it? Finance, all that. No, one of the things Gary does, he runs a scheme. It says, save £5 by sending me £15 instead of 20. No, he's always had a head for figures, Gary. At school one day, I had a bag of sweets, William's bullseyes. Not real bullseyes. Mostly cow's eyes, I think, and a couple of sheep in there. Anyway, I didn't want them all, and Gary Price said, well, let's split them 50-50 then. I said, oh, no, I don't want 50. I only want half. So that's what we did. I had half of one and Gary had the rest. Yeah, that's Gary Price. Another thing Gary does, he lends money to people. I asked him how it worked. He said, I lend someone £200 plus interest. I said, how much interest? He said, well, I find when you go round someone's home with a hammer and a blowtorch, you get quite a lot of interest. In fact, you've got people's undivided attention, really. He's interested in taxation as well. He says, you know, the council does one kind of a tax on property, council tax, and I do another kind of a tax on property. Usually involving petrol and matches. You know. With the one, you pay a tax. With the other one, you pay to avoid a tax. Oh, very straightforward. Another modern thing that always seems to be happening now these days is problems in the NHS. Because saving money, that's what it's all about, really, isn't it? So at the Dimmersmuggy Hospital in Swansea, local anaesthetics will only be given to people who live locally. And in the operating theatres, surgeons are going to make cuts as well. So they're... Go on. No, actually, nowadays, anyhow, they prefer to give you an alternative to surgery, don't they? So if you've got a bad hip, they'll cure it with hypnosis. No, the hypnotist will make you think you've had a hip replacement operation. Another thing they're doing at the Dimmersmuggy is, when you see the doctor will say to you, how are you? And if you start to tell him by saying, well, he'll stop you there. And say, good, off you go then. But, you know, they are still treating people. There was a story in the Welshman this week, I'll read it to you now. Doctors at the Dimmersmuggy are treating a man who completely lost his sense of humour after having an accident. They say his condition is very serious. Yeah, another thing now that we never used to have is box sets, isn't it? Box sets. People say, oh, yeah, we stayed in and watched a box set. I do it myself. My favourite one is a grey shoebox, a red and green matchbox, and a small brown box that belonged to a man who went to Stoke-on-Trent. Oh, no, I could easily spend the weekend looking at them. They're really good. Now, we mentioned convenience food just now. Fast food, that's another one. Although I suppose technically fast food would be no food at all because you're on a fast. Oh, never mind. Anyway, a new fast food restaurant opened in Swansea the other day. Chicken restaurant, Clucks, it's called. Clucks, yeah. And they got a slogan, you know, advertising slogan, and it goes, yesterday they were clucking everywhere. Today they don't give a cluck. Because we just cooked the cluck right out of them. Eat at Clucks, because it's really good tucker. Oh, that's them. Yeah, and they charge £5 a head. And I thought, well, you know, it's a good price, but who'd want to eat a chicken head? Gravel, that's who. Gravel, my girlfriend. You know, if she's feeling peckish. No. And they were doing a meal deal, 2 for 1. Gravel went for that option. And I ordered a vegetarian meal for myself. The waiter brought me chicken. I said, excuse me, I asked for something vegetarian. And he said, the chicken is a vegetarian. All chickens are. So I ate it. It was nice. But I didn't want much, because I'd never been a big eater, you know. At school they said, Siadwel, you can have free school dinners. I said, no, I might be able to manage 2, but any more than that, you know. No, I think I'd be sick, honestly. Well, my dad used to say the most important thing for a father to do was to put food on the table. It'd be nice if he'd got more of it in his mouth, but there we are. No, but I don't blame him, really, because Mum's cooking wasn't great. She said it was cordon bleu, but I think it was more bleu than cordon, unfortunately. Actually, I think one of the reasons why my dad was so hopeless eating his dinner was he had a problem with his arms. He couldn't get his arms down by his side. His arms were always out, like a cowboy, ready to go for his guns, you know. So he went to the doctor. And the doctor had a look. He said, oh, yeah, I can see what the problem is. It's your string vest. It's too highly strung. Anyway, we enjoyed our dinner at Cluck's, and the waiter asked us, what would you like to drink? Perhaps a dry white wine for the lady? And I said, no, but if you've got one that's wet, we'll have that. No. And I'll have a croak. That's a frog-based fizzy drink made by Gwilliams. Yeah, croak. Anyway, you should go there to Cluck's. It's in the artists' quarter of Swansea. I say quarters, more like an eighth, really. Anyway, the restaurant is just opposite the big statue of Ysgrifbyn Mawr, the great Welsh writer. Yeah. And of course, as you'd expect, with any statue, there are pigeon droppings all over his head. Yeah, but I'll tell you what surprised me once when I saw Ysgrifbyn was there actually were pigeon droppings all over his head. So what with that, no one wanted to sit next to him, really, you know. Which was a shame, because it was the Welsh film premiere of The Magnificent Seven, which was based on his best-selling book, The Magnificent Seven. Of course, the book was actually about the River Severn. But to sell it to an American audience, they made it all about cowboys instead, you know. Apart from that, it's exactly the same. Yes, Ysgrifbyn's had quite an influence on world culture, but world culture influenced him as well. He particularly liked Spanish writers. In fact, it was Cervantes' book, Don Quixote, that inspired him to write Pit Pony Gareth. Yeah. And you know, I think there's a thing about Welsh writers. They prefer to write books about nice, wholesome subjects. I'm thinking now of Irving Welsh, you know. Wrote that book about train spotting. Nice, healthy activity for a young man. Better than drug taking, which is what I've heard. What a lot of young people get up to, you know. We hear a lot these days about same-sex couples. And I think it makes sense for people to have the same sex as each other. You know, instead of one person doing one thing and the other one doing something completely different. I mean, you'd be all over the shop. Not that you should do it in a shop. No, Gravel worked in a gentleman's outfitters for a while. Not very long, about an hour, actually, till they found out that she was in there, you know. And I think one of the things they didn't like was the way she pressed the gentleman's trousers while they were still wearing them, you know. No, she's very open about all that sort of thing. Very proud of the fact she lost her virginity on St. David's Day. Although I don't know why she says she lost it. She knows exactly where it is. Behind Rip Van Winkle's Winkle van down by the pier. Yeah. Got a very strong singing voice, Gravel. Although she does tend to break wind going for a high note. So, yeah. What she's done, she combined the two talents in a Dusty Springfield tribute act called Gusty Springfield. And she's gone for the look. Had her hair done in a beehive by Yestin the hairdresser. Well, everyone calls him Di because he's so good at colouring hair, you know. No, he's good. Now then, I just mentioned Dusty Springfield. I'll bet none of you can name the most successful Welsh pop group ever. No? Don't know who they are? They were called Aberdaugleddau. But they never got anywhere till they dropped the Daugleddau. Aber, yeah. Never looked back then. They didn't, actually, because after that they moved to Sweden and pretended to be Swedish. And after they changed the name of the group, they changed the titles of some of the songs as well. Waterloo, that used to be called Chemical Toilet. Chiquitita, it was Chicken Tartar, song about an abattoir. So there we are, modern life. You know, not all of it's an improvement on the old ways, although I think certainly for people with disabilities, things are better than they used to be. I'm thinking now of that new breakdown service that's just started for motorists who are hard of hearing. It's called the A. Oh, actually, before I go, must just tell you, the other day, I was walking past a house in Skewen. And I heard the sound of wailing coming from an upstairs window. You know, crashing waves and burly men shouting, "There she blows," that sort of thing. It's funny what people get up to in the privacy of their own home, isn't it? That's it. Cheerio. Oh.
Siadwel was written and performed by John Sparks and produced by Pete Baker. It was an Absolutely production for BBC Radio Web.
Oh, Siadwel, you are hopeless.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Siadwel.
Oh, Siadwel, you're all wet again.
Hello. Oh. This story's called Unfortunate Gary Price. There was a story in the Welshman newspaper today about a Swansea man who sewed a scale model of the Mumbles Lighthouse onto the front of his trousers. Police arrested him for flashing. Yeah, no, people do wear some peculiar things. The other day I was going along, I saw a couple of lads I know, accompanied by a young lady. And the two lads were wearing these extraordinary costumes. They were pink and hairy, quite long, and with a flat bit at the bottom. And the young lady was just wearing ordinary clothes. I said, what's going on? And one of the lads said, oh, we're going to a fancy dress party on the theme of human body parts and wear a pair of legs. I said, well, what about the young lady? They said, oh, that's Denise. Dear. I don't know. It's all true, obviously. No, I haven't been to a fancy dress party for years. Last one I went to, the police were called. The next day it was in the Welshman. I'll read you the article now. Vicars from all over Wales were at the Church of St. in Swansea yesterday to attend a tarts and vicars party organised by the Reverend Harry Lawyer. Yeah. However, fighting broke out when the vicars discovered there weren't any tarts, only pies, puddings and trifles. Oh, no, it was pandemonium. I was talking to the organist, Mr. Note, about it the other day. It's not his real name, no, but everyone calls him that because he did once, Mr. Note, and they won't let him forget. And he's got, yeah. Mr. Note, yeah. Oh, go on. Mr. Note, he's got... Oh, sinking in now. Yeah. No, Mr. Note, he's got tattoos all down his arm of all his favourite composers, Mozart, Beethoven, all that lot. And at the end, there's a tattoo of a doorknob. I said, what's that then? He said, oh, the tattoo artist didn't know what Handel looked like. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, no. Tattoos, very popular now, aren't they, tattoos? Gary Price had his name tattooed on his knuckles. Gary was all right, but Price was one letter too many. So they had to leave off the E. It's a bit unfortunate, really, And for years, I thought Nan had a tattoo of the River Towie on her leg. Varicose vein it was, that's what... Yeah. Gravel, my girlfriend, she fancies a tattoo. Edinburgh military tattoo. She's particularly keen on all 600 of them, No, she's like that. She wants to go to Iceland now because she's heard there's lots of hot geezers there. Oh. You've heard of Dino Rod? Dino Rod, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, there's a man in Swansea, same line of work. He's called Dino Rod. Because he hasn't got any rods. Just sticks his hand down the drain, But he's got very long arms. He could have been a policeman, you know what I'm saying? Could have been a policeman. And I was at school with him. And when he left school, because of his arms, he joined the army. No, he thought it would suit somebody like him, but it didn't work out. No, because when you walk past the officers in the army, what the officers like is being saluted. But what they don't like is getting an elbow right in the medals, if you know what I mean. So we had to leave the army, and he didn't know what to do. And I like to think that I helped him then, because we had a chat, and I've always been interested in drains. I mean, when I was little, one of the things I really wanted was a drain set, In fact, when they were building the housing estate near us, and the first thing that goes in is always the sewers and the drains. Anyway, I asked the man if I could have a look, and he took me right up the pipe. Something I'll never forget. Yeah, so that's Dino Rod. He got a slogan as well for the business. Your blockage is my bread and butter. Oh. Yeah. He's always got work. Always got work. Only the other day, Mr. Gaki dropped his toothbrush down the toilet. He should have been using paper, really. But he's very fastidious, you know, so that was another job for Dino Rod. No, I think I liked trains, because they're a bit mysterious. I could see where everything went in, but I used to wonder, where does it come out? Then one summer, we went on holiday to Cachi Bay. And I found out. Yes, actually, the River Cachi, which goes into the bay, is the only river in Wales you can't drown in. If you fall in, you just bounce off. And we stayed in Abercachi. Not a blue flag beach. No, a grey flag they got with a brown streak across it, you know. We went there because it was cheap, and you knew what to expect. We weren't disappointed. Or you were disappointed, but you weren't surprised, were you like that? And talking of holidays, Gary Price again. He went on holiday to Egypt a few years ago, see the pyramids and all that. And while he was there, he fell in the river. And everybody saw him fall in the river, but he insisted he hadn't fallen in the river. He was definitely in denial. Oh, go on. Oh, no, he's a funny one, Gary Price. Not in a funny way, if you know what I mean. No, he keeps a scrapbook of all the fights he's had, you know. He said to me once, he said, Siadwel, you know me, when my back's to the wall, I turn round and fight. Not the smartest thing to do, really, when you think about it. And he just keeps getting things wrong, socially, Gary Price. He said to Gravel once, he said, hey, Gravel, you've got the face of an angel, you have. Hell's angel, mind. Oh. He laughed then. And then he went very quiet. In fact, he was quiet for about 6 months after that. But basically till all the bones in his jaw had knitted back together again. Yeah. But Gary Price did actually join the Hell's Angels later, the Welsh version of them, Rill's Angels. He was the leader of the Worm's Head chapter, and only member, as it happened. So not so much a chapter, more of a paragraph, really, you know. But he'd go tearing round in his leathers on his bike, Rally Pathfinder it was, with a Sturmey Archer 3-speed. So it's quite impressive, but, you know, he would have preferred a motorbike, you know. One of those big Welsh ones, like a Ronda 750 or something. But nobody would sell him one, because he was only 6 years old, so there we are. And he makes things up, Gary Price. He tells lies. Oh, talking about lies, what's the most dishonest place in the world? A bed. Everybody lies in bed. Oh, suit yourself, all right. No, I like being in bed. Snuggling under the carpet. Oh. No, because we had a bit of carpet left over, and I thought, that'll be nice and warm. And it's quiet as well, you know, not like newspaper rustling all the time. But I dream quite a lot. And you know how weird dreams can be. I had a dream the other night where I was using this device for smoking tobacco, sort of. It was a narrow tube. It was a narrow tube made of wood with a kind of bowl at one end, and there was tobacco burning in it, and the smoke from that was sort of coming up into my mouth. It was just a pipe dream. Yeah, me and Gravel, we've got what they call an open relationship, you know? And Gravel takes it very seriously. She's open all hours and you get a free glass of wine on entry. So and she dribbles in her sleep. Funnily enough, the spit stain on her pillow looks exactly like her favourite film star, Brad Pitt. Spitting image of him. Oh. Anyway, the other morning I got out of bed, and all I had on were my glasses, because the optician said I need glasses for sleeping. Yeah. No, they haven't got lenses, obviously, because I'm asleep. And the frames are quite expensive, but the optician said, yeah, I definitely need them. And you can't muck about with your eyesight, can you? No. Specs Maniacs I go to. You do a free eye test. The other eye you have to pay for. Well, that's fair enough. I was there this week, actually, for a checkup. The optician said, all right, read this eye chart. So I started reading. He stopped me then. He said, OK, you're either looking at this chart in Welsh or you're seeing double. Either way, I'll give you these bilingual glasses and that'll sort it out. Then he said, do you drive? I said, no, I've got a car. He said, OK, well, you need glasses for that as well. I said, what, need classes for not driving? He said, yeah, you can't be too careful. No, because they're very thorough at Specs Maniacs. And every year they have an opticians festival, the Eisteddfod, they call it. Oh. No, it's a real spectacle, like you tell you. Oh. No, this year, it was brilliant. They had the Welsh Elvis Presley impersonator, Elvis Presley. Late stage Elvis, so he's a bit overbeast, you know, and backed by the gastric band. Yeah, but he's great. He's got the look, got his hair in a quiff, got the sideboards, although the doors kept flying open and stuff kept falling out. But just adds to the fun, you know. I used to like the original Elvis as well, although my dad preferred Perry Como, whose real name was Perry Comover. But he changed that because he wasn't getting the bookings, you know. But I really enjoyed the festival, and then I saw the optician there, and he asked me, did you enjoy it? And I said, yeah, I really enjoyed it. And he said, good, but I come in tomorrow morning, and you might need glasses for that. Anyway, as I was saying, the other morning I got out of bed just with my glasses on, didn't have any clothes on, and I opened the curtains, and there was the window cleaner on his ladder. I don't know who was more surprised, because he didn't have any clothes on either. I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm going up to the next window. That's Gravel's room. And I could see he'd got his squeegee out. So I said to him, just to cover the embarrassment, that's not big enough. You need one twice that size to make an impression up there. Oh. I saw him again half an hour later, getting into his van. I said, what are you going to do around the back as well? But he just drove off. And Gravel's windows are still filthy. He just opened them, that's all, and left the curtains flapping. Anyway, before I go, I must just tell you, Gary Price got another tattoo. And what he wanted was a tattoo that said, I love violence. So he went to the tattooist and told the tattooist what he wanted. But unfortunately, it was very noisy in the tattoo parlour, and what the tattooist thought he said was, I love violets. So that's what he's got, tattooed on his forehead. He is a bit unfortunate, Gary Price. That's it. Cheerio. Right, time for some more stories from the Welshman now. So here goes, the first one. Appalled by the fact that many people in Wales don't have a mouth organ, the president of the Welsh Mouth Organ Society, Siadwel Thomas, known in Wales as the Big Puff, has said from now on, all members of the society will carry a mouth organ donor card. Here's another story. Thieves broke into an office in Gorsinan last night and stole a photocopier and the office cat. Police think it's a copycat crime. No, that is awful, isn't it? It's awful. The people who work there are really upset. They were very fond of that photocopier. OK, back to the stories now. This story's called Out and About. I was out having a walk the other day, and just outside the infant school, there was a crocodile of school children crossing the road. It had eaten so many, it could hardly put one foot in front of the other. No, I know it seems a bit harsh to have crocodiles in schools, but it's the only way to maintain discipline these days, you know. There's one school I heard about, they've got a bear now. Polar bear. Actually, he's a bipolar bear, and if you get him... No, get him at the wrong time, you know, look out. I like walking. Or cycling if my bike hasn't been stolen. No, there was a good cycling-related story in the Welshman this week, actually. I'll read it to you now. A Swansea man who boasted he had more than 24 bicycles, when in fact he had no bicycles at all, has been accused of peddling lies. No, I think it was Grandad. It was my Grandad who got me interested in being outside. He liked the park, you know, particularly that little hill that overlooks the nurses' hostel, you know. Yeah. I remember going there for a walk with him, and I brought Pedwar the dog, and I tried to stop him, but he rolled in dog muck, which absolutely stank. And I said, Grandad, why did you do that? And he said, I'm going to the pictures this afternoon. I don't want anyone sitting near me, you know. Yeah, no, I was the Llansamlet ODS he was going to. Every afternoon, in the old days, every afternoon, they used to show a programme of adult films, you know, the sort of thing. Not so much IMAX as dirty old Max rustling in the dark, that sort of thing. And in fact, the first film they were showing was Mad Max, about a group of dirty old men who go on the rampage. Oh. And starring Grandad's favourite porno film actor, Humphrey Hogarth. No, he's just like Humphrey Bogart, but completely different, you know. And the other film they were showing was Goldilocks and the Three Bare Bottoms, starring Grandad's favourite porno film actress, Tess Tickle. No, actually, Grandad's favourite adult films were the ones that were made in Wales. I'm an Nymphomaniac, Let's Go to Bed Was Together. And Saunders Foot, a good 12 inches in West Wales. I don't understand what that's all about, really, but apparently it's very popular at hen parties, you know. So. Anyway, that's where Grandad was going. No, he was round that part of Llansamna quite a lot, actually, because next door to the cinema, don't know if you know it, but it's just between the cinema and Club Merched Noeth, the Welsh language strip club. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, just there, there's a massage parlour that Grandad used to go to, a Helping Hand, it's called. No, it's not very discreet. In fact, it's not very well run at all. And it's owned by 4 brothers, Barry Cook, Larry Cook, Harry Cook, and Gary Cook. Too many cooks spoil the brothel, I think that's what. Oh. Nan just had a windfall, £125 on the premium bonds. Mr. Gackie had a windfall too, but his was different. He broke wind and fell over. So not quite so nice. No, social services were very concerned because they found him on the floor. I thought, well, where do you expect to find him then? On the ceiling? You know, the blue bottle. You know, Mr. Gackie, he likes the floor. As he says, with the floor, you know where you stand. He used to be a professional carpet layer. In the war, he saw action on the front line, so... The floor holds no fear for Mr. Gackie. Anyway, the upshot of it all is the social services say he needs 24-hour care. After 24 hours, he's on his own then because of... So now they're talking about him going into a home. But he doesn't want to do that because he's very independent. You know, he likes to do things for himself. Give you an example. Do you remember years ago there was that thing in comics where if a character wanted to get a bad tooth out, they'd tie it to a piece of string, then tie the other end of the string to a doorknob, then they'd slam the door. Mr. Gackie does that when he's got constipation. Grandad spent the last few years of his life in an old people's home, but he's different, you know, and he made sure that he enjoyed himself. At the Christmas party, he'd stand in front of the Lucky Dip. Hang on. At the Christmas party, he'd stand in front of the Licky Dap. Actually, the Licky Dap. That horrible that was, the Licky Dap. No, we used to have that in PE at school. Very nasty indeed. Glad that's over. Anyway, at the Christmas party, he'd stand in front of the Licky Dip. Oh, one day. What's the time? Okay. At the Christmas party, he'd stand in front of the Lucky Dip. So the short-sighted residents would put their hands down his trousers by mistake. No, but after a couple of old ladies had a stroke, they made him stop doing it. You know. But Mr. Gackie, he's not like that. He'd rather sit quietly and listen to the radio. And his favourite programme at the moment is Sounds of the 70s. That's not the one on Radio 2 about pop music presented by Johnny Walker. It's the one on Radio Wales about the noises old people make. Yeah. Presented by Johnny Walking Frame. No, I listen to every programme. He said to me, Siadwel, I don't know how they do it, but I can actually hear the smell of boiled cabbage rising up out of the carpet in the day room. Springtime's a great time to be out and about, though, isn't it? All the birds singing and the flowers coming out, all that. But the one thing I don't like seeing is all the little lambs gambling in the fields. I don't know where they get the money. But I do know every one of them is going to get fleeced, and I don't like it. I don't like it. No, I mentioned it to Uncle Nog. He said, well, it's the way of the world. And he knows about animals, Uncle Nog. He told me once that pigs have got very sensitive skin. And if it gets painful, you have to put ointment on it. Yeah, I know. And I never know if he's joking or not, Uncle Nog, because another thing he told me is that what cows are actually saying is moo, which is poo with a nasal mutation. Yeah. And he says the reason is, if they didn't do that, you'd get poo coming out both ends. Another story with Uncle Nog, years ago now, this is true, this happened, years ago, I was little, I'd gone for a walk with him, and we were in a part of Swansea I'd never been before, and we came across this huge pile of slippers. Must have been as tall as a house, thousands of slippers. And I wanted to climb up it, up the side of the slipper mountain, you know, a little boy. But Uncle Nog said, no, Siadwel, no. You don't want to start doing things like that, because that's a slippery slope, that is. The other thing about spring is we'd have an Easter egg hunt. Have to be quite careful how you say that. Yeah. No, so I'd go off looking for Easter eggs. Really excited, you know. Never found any eggs. Years later, I found out why. Mum never hid any, but they were... But it was great fun, apart from the disappointment, obviously. No, the only thing I ever found was Mr. Shattuck, hiding in the bushes. But I liked Mr. Shattuck. He was one of Grandad's friends, you know. Whenever I saw him, we'd stop and have a little chat about whether anoraks are better than dirty old Macs, you know. And he preferred a dirty old Mac for technical reasons. He said they wouldn't understand. And I preferred my anorak for the technical reason that I like my anorak. The other day, I walked past the College of Bakery and Baking, Swansea School of Low Farts. Sorry, that makes it sound like there's a school of flatulence in Swansea. There's not. There's no school of flatulence in Swansea. It's in Cardiff. There we are. No. Anyway, Swansea School of Low Farts. That's where you go to learn how to be a baker. And I went along to one of their open days to see what they did. And actually, there was one thing I was quite interested in. It was 3 years, starting with an introduction to the theory and practice of slicing bread. Then there was 6 months practical experience working with margarine and butter. And finally, you had to do a written project on the uses and applications of cheese and pickle. It was a sandwich course. Oh. No, I didn't do it. I didn't do it in the end. But it was interesting to look round, you know, on the open day. And I couldn't help noticing. In one room, there was a man telling everyone what to do. And I said, who's that? They said, oh, that's Ray Me. He's the one who invented the technique using solar energy to turn ordinary dough into dough for making tea bread. He runs the dough department. And I said, oh, so it's dough's Ray Me for solar tea dough, is it? Oh, they said, yes, it is. But it's all very high-tech, very high. All along one wall, they've got these little balls of dough plugged into the electric. I said, what's that? They said, oh, you switch them on and they're ready to eat. I said, what are they? Currant buns. And Swansea Master Bakers... That's the company that sells all the stuff they make. Swansea Master Bakers, as well as doing wedding cakes, they do divorce cakes as well. Yeah, and you know those gigantic cakes they have at really posh parties where a young lady jumps out of the cake and sings a song? Well, the divorce cake is like that, except it's 2 solicitors who jump out and they present the couple with a large bill for their services. Oh. Yeah, you know, when I'm out and about, out for a walk, I like to stop and look at things, you know, like interesting buildings. And in Wales, fair enough, we haven't got the world's tallest building, but we have got the world's shortest building. It's in Swansea. It's the office of the Welshman newspaper. Because the newspaper's flat, isn't it? You don't need a tall building for that, do you? And you know how with a lot of these iconic buildings, they give them a name. Like in London, they've got the Gherkin, because the building looks a bit like a gherkin. So the one in Swansea is called the Uterus. Not because it looks like one, but because every day, inside that building, a new Welshman is created. Yeah. It's quite poetic, that. And actually, in today's Welshman, there's quite an interesting story. I'll read it to you now. Police officers are being told to clean up after themselves under sweeping new changes being introduced today. Neighbourhood policeman, Constable Herbert Dipp, said he'd been in the force for 25 years, and this was his first brush with the law. No, it's a good thing, because there's a lot of rubbish in the streets. You know, people just drop stuff, don't they? Grandad used to drop his trousers, but that was a bit different, you know. But you do have to look. You do have to look where you're putting your feet. You know, just the other day, I trod in something and it was soft. Yeah, the good news is it wasn't dog muck. The bad news is it was sick. No, sick is horrible, isn't it? I mean, if your tummy is full of that, it's no wonder you throw up, is it, quite? And then I realised it wasn't sick. It was a carton of Gwillim's tomato skin and diced carrot soup. that somebody had dropped on the pavement. Oh. And as well as looking where you put your feet, you have to look after your feet as well. For a while, I had very painful feet. And I went to see a man who was like an osteopath, but for feet. He's a footpath. And his brother treated people with psychological problems. He's a psychopath. So anyway, he had a look. He said, oh, you've got verrucas on the balls of your feet. I said, on the balls of my feet. He said, on the balls of your feet. I was shocked. Didn't know feet had any. Certainly explained why walking was so painful. And he said, I got some stuff. I can put some stuff on that that'll burn the verrucas off. I said, burn them off the balls of my feet. He said, yes. I said, no, and I hobbled out. Oh, Gravel has problems with the feet. I'll come down in the morning, there'll be a bowl of cornflakes on the table, and I'll know Gravel's been scraping her feet again. And she cuts her toenails into the bath. I mean, nothing wrong with that, except I'd rather she did it when I'm not in the bath, you know. And she's got big feet, and one of her feet is much bigger than the other one. Now, quite a lot of people have that, but with her it's quite extreme. Basically, she wears one ordinary shoe and one clown's shoe. And because of the different sizes, she has to get her shoes specially made by a shoemaker in Swansea, actually, Jim Shoe. Jim Shoe, yeah. Anyway, I was interested to know how shoes get made. So one time I went along with Gravel and I said to Jim, Mr. Shoe, I said, how do you do it then? What's the process? And he picked up a bit of flappy old leather and he said, well, we want this upper for a start. And I was a bit startled, you know. I said, what do you mean? He said, the upper, it's the top part of the shoe. And then he said, you've got the lower part of the shoe, which is the heel and the sole. He said, heels are straightforward, but he said, with the soles, it depends if you're going to be walking long distances or just strolling around the shops. He said, it's what I call far soles and la-di-da soles. No, it's all very interesting, though. Before I go, there's another thing I saw when I was out and about. There's a horse-drawn carriage. Unfortunately, horses aren't very good artists. So it was a bit rubbish, really, but, you know, it must be very difficult holding a pencil with your hooves. So good effort. Well done, Goblin. That's it, cheerio. Oh.
Siadwel was written and performed by John Sparks and produced by Pete Baker. It was an Absolutely production for BBC Radio Wales.
Oh, Siadwel, you are hopeless.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Siadwel.
Hello. Oh. The story is called Winter. Every year at the Church of St. in Swansea, they have a star. They have a star at the top of the Christmas tree. Catherine Zeta-Jones was the best one. 3 days she managed. Can't be easy, because that tree does go up a long way, you know. Nice big fir tree, not real fir, obviously, because of animal rights. And of course, there's a nativity scene. But to make it more relevant to the modern world, instead of looking at the baby Jesus in the manger, everyone in the stable is watching the television instead. Very popular, that. Then on Christmas Eve, the pews are all decorated with sprigs of holly. They look a bit stupid, but Mrs. Pugh likes the family to make an effort, you know. Very festive it is, yeah. Anyway, I was there before all this, helping the vicar, the Reverend Hallelujah. You know, to put fresh mattresses down before the service, because a lot of churches these days have got a problem with falling congregations, and is no different. After I'd done the mattresses then, I was up restocking the minibar in the pulpit. So there's always lots to be done, you know. Actually, talking to the pulpit reminds me, we had a very interesting sermon the other week from a member of the congregation. All about chickens and eggs it was. And he really knew what he was talking about because he was a lay preacher. Anyway, it's cold. It's cold in church, so I had my gloves on. Although I'd left my old gloves, my real gloves, on the bus. But I got some new gloves, because it's important to keep your hand in with gloves, you know. So I'd gone in the shop, and they'd seen these gloves on special offer, buy one, get one free. Yeah. No, there's still a lot more than I can afford mine, but I thought, well, it's a bargain, I'll get them. And they delivered them as well. If you wanted, you know. That was an extra £5, but I thought, it's worth it, isn't it? Because you haven't got to carry them home then. And no chance of leaving them on the bus. Although, as it happened, I hadn't got enough money left for the bus anyway, so I couldn't have got the gloves on the bus in the first place. Oh. And I had to walk home in the cold, so I could have done with those gloves, but unfortunately... I don't know. Anyway, I was in church. I was chatting to the bell ringer, Mr. Thwells. William Thwells. Bill Thwells, everyone calls him. Although, funnily enough, he's not from Bill Thwells. Oh, Llandrin Dodwells he's from. Yeah, but he had to leave Llandrin Dodwells because they said, look, we can't have Bill Thwells in Llandrin Dodwells. What would they say in Llanwrtydwells if they found out? We'd be a laughing stock. So they said to him, get off to Bill Thwells, Bill Thwells. He did go, but poor old Bill Thwells wasn't welcome in Bill Thwells either. They said to him, what are you doing in Bill Thwells, Bill Thwells? You're Llandrin Dodwells, Bill Thwells, so go from here as well. And he moved to Swansea then, and he was all right. So that's Bill Thwells, the bell ringer. He was a very good bell ringer, very good indeed. Ding-dong, you know, ding-dong, all that. Funny thing is, though, because people do like the ding, everybody agrees it's his dong that's really impressive. The ladies particularly like it. Yeah. No, in fact, a lot of them say they actually look forward to being woken up by it on a Sunday morning. So. Yes. Joined the SAS last year. No, because they were doing a Christmas pantomime and I quite fancied being in it, you know. That's the Swansea Acting Society, by the way, not the other one, no. Mind, if I had joined the other one, I wouldn't be able to tell you, because it's secret, isn't it? I haven't, though, in case you're wondering. Anyway, Cinderella they were doing, a new version by Ysgrifbyn Mawr, the great Welsh writer. No, because in the traditional story, he'd spotted a serious problem. He'd realised that the slippers that she leaves at the ball wouldn't just fit the foot of one woman. You know, there could be loads of women with size, whatever it was, feet. So there'd be the prince trying to find the foot that fits, and there could be further feet that fit he's failed to find, isn't it? You know, I mean, quite frankly, he'd be a fool to feel the first foot found fulfilled his fate. Do you know what I mean? He'd face the facts. Sorry about all the effing there. So we needed Cinderella to leave behind something that would fit her and nobody else. So, what she leaves at the ball is her false teeth. Embedded in a Cadwelly tart. That's another thing with this one. Cinderella is quite old. So, Ysgrifbyn doesn't call her Cinderella. Cinderella, he calls her. Anyway, the prince then, he goes around the kingdom looking for the old lady whose gums will fit these false teeth. Oh, it's quite romantic, you know. But then, Ysgrifbyn gives the story another twist, because it turns out she's a lesbian, doesn't fancy him anyway. Oh! And another thing, he didn't think that Prince Charming sounded very Welsh, so Prince Shenkin he is. And funnily enough, in the production I was in, that part was actually played by my friend Shenkin Oystermouth. Yeah, he's not from Oystermouth. He's got a mouth like an oyster, that's all he's got. He sort of talks... No, honestly, it's like talking to somebody from Doigyfalchi, it really is. But he's all right. No, he's all right, Shenkin. He runs a cafe in Swansea called Taste of Swansea. Everything sourced locally, from the Tesco's just down the road. Anyway, we did the pantomime, and there was a programme for it, you know, and I noticed that it said in the programme, cast in order of appearance, and I thought, it's not very nice, is it? You know, putting us in order... What we look like, and of course I was right at the bottom of the page as well. There we are. But it's great fun. Only had one line. I had to say to Cinderella, the prince would like to see you in private. But I was a bit nervous. I got it wrong. And I said, the prince would like to see in your privates. But I really enjoyed it. It was fun. You know, I enjoyed it. The audience didn't. They hated it. Walked out in their droves. And you'd think if they were going to go in droves, they'd drive. But they didn't. So there we are. No. I saw Gary Price the other day. He said to me, Siadwel, what does someone with no friends have for breakfast? I said, oh, it's a joke, is it? He said, no, I was just wondering. Why don't I ask you, you know? No, I've never really got on with Gary Price. I have to say, you know, fair play. When we were children, if we ever had snow, he did make a fantastic snowman. Remember there was one particular one he did, where he'd gone for realism and made an old man's snowman, sort of bent over with a walking frame, you know. He'd even got him carrying a shopping bag with a packet of biscuits and a tin of Spum. Spum. Yeah, Spum. It's a Gwillim's product, a bit like Spam. They're made with... Actually, I'm not quite sure what it's made with. When you open the tin, it smells a bit like somebody's broken wind, you know. Yeah. But it was the attention to detail that was so impressive, you know, because that is exactly what old Mr. Gacky's weekly shop would look like. I popped round to tell him about it, actually, but he wasn't there. No, in fact, I didn't see him again till after the snow had gone. I said to him then, where have you been, Mr. Gacky? He said, I don't know. He said he remembered not remembering anything. That happens quite a lot to Mr. Gacky. Then he woke up in a damp patch on the grass. So I think we know what might have happened there, you know. But what really upset him, he said, was that his biscuits had gone all soft. Yeah, his tin of Spum was okay. But then, you know, Spum is indestructible, really. Even after it's passed through your body, it looks exactly the same, you know. But for something to happen to an old man's biscuits, doesn't bear thinking about if you think about it, you know. Mr. Gacky keeps going, always keeps his New Year's resolution, always the same one, not to die this year. And I think he manages it through being very careful. Even when it's cold at night, he won't have an electric blanket. He's afraid that if the electric in the cable is coming from a wind farm and there's a big gust of wind, he'll be electrocuted. Yeah, because weather, no, it's unpredictable, isn't it? Probably why they call it weather, because you never know whether it's going to do one thing or the other. Oh. Yeah, and I've noticed the storms have got names now, haven't they? Got names, storms. Abigail was the first one, wasn't it, last autumn? But I thought, a bit informal, isn't it? You know, being on first name terms with the weather. No? I mean, 30 years ago, we'd have had a bit more respect. It would be Hurricane Mrs. Thomas is expected to cause localised flooding later in the day, you know, sort of thing. Actually, I know Mrs. Thomas, and she did used to cause localised flooding. Till she had her operation, you know. And they thought, well, why just name storms? You know, we could give names to other kinds of weather as well. Snow. Well, I know the obvious person to name a snowstorm after. Togwyn Evans with his dandruff. No, it's bad. It's type 2 dandruff, you know. So there's heavy snow, you name it after him. And on higher ground tonight, expect a good 6 inches of Togwyn Evans. Yeah, what about nice weather? Well, nice, a warm front, they call that, isn't it? Well, I know now, as soon as I said that, half of you were thinking, warm front, oh, I know they could name that after. It's the landlady of that pub, isn't it? Yeah, Swansea's most popular spelling mistake, Myfanwy's bra. Oh. Yeah, so a nice warm day in Wales would be Myfanwy. And on the TV then, the weatherman would say, tomorrow, most of Wales will feel widespread Myfanwy. All over the country, there'd be men thinking of getting their tools out. And doing a bit of gardening. Not much gardening in winter, though, is there? I suppose the main thing with winter is Christmas. All the presents you get. Remember one year at infant school, Miss said, I want you all to draw Father Christmas, leaving things for you on Christmas Eve. So I drew him, with a big sack, and his black eye mask and stripy jersey. next to an armchair, a table, and the carpet in the front room. Miss said, "What's that?" I said, "It's Father Christmas, miss, leaving us the furniture on Christmas Eve. Everything else he took." No, not a great year, not a great year. There was another year I was hoping to get an action man. You know, didn't mind which one, because there's loads of different ones, isn't there? Paratrooper, sniper, diver, lots of them. Anyway, this one Christmas, I actually got an action man. The action man conscientious objector. That's all they'd got left in the shop. You tried to put a gun or a knife in his hand, he'd just drop it. I couldn't make him do anything. So I complained to my dad. He said, "Well, he's a pacifist, isn't he? You have to respect his sincerely held belief that violence is wrong." So I spent that Christmas respecting Action Man's sincerely held beliefs. Dullest Christmas day I ever had. And then we'd have Christmas dinner. It was one year we couldn't afford a turkey, though, so we had a seagull instead. Not very nice, but it did come pre-stuffed with bits of plastic. Which are very filling, I have to say. Christmas crackers we'd have. Oh, the jokes in them. Oh, there's one I remember now. Why wasn't the little baby Jesus born in Rill? Because they couldn't find 3 wise men. Oh, or a virgin. Oh, I don't know who thinks of them, honestly. Oh, then in the afternoon we play board games. Actually, there's a board game out now based on my girlfriend Gravel's sex life. It's called Ludo. Yeah. Throw a 6, you get another go. In fact, if you throw any number, you get another go, because it's Gravel, isn't it? You know. It's made by a Welsh company. You've got their factory in Fun and Gynydd in Powys, so they can call themselves Fun and Games. Oh, they make loads of stuff. The bestseller, their very bestseller, is a Welsh version of Monopoly with things like go to Rill, go directly to Rill. Do not pass Colwyn Bay. Do not collect £200 for tarmacking a drive while claiming unemployment benefit. Oh, Fun and Gynydd, though, I just thought, not very far from Billthwells, is it? No, the place, not the man, obviously. Billthwell's the man. Can't go anywhere near that part of Wales, can he? Although, I saw him the other day and he was saying he would love to go back to Llandrindod-Wells. But he can't because of the name thing. I said, well, what about changing the name then? He said, oh, I don't know. It's been called Llandrindod-Wells for hundreds of years. Don't think they'd want to, really. He said, don't get me wrong, I love Swansea. He said for him, living in Swansea was like having a tempestuous relationship with a beautiful woman. You know, the first girl he ever kissed. That's what Llandrindod-Wells was like. I was quite sad to hear that, because all I could think of was how sorry I felt for that poor girl who looked like Llandrindod-Wells. We'll leave it there, I think. Cheerio! Oh. Right. The story is called Welsh Cakes and Vampires. The other day, I opened the wardrobe and it was full of moths, all sort of paired up and moving round and round in a rhythmical way. And in the background, I could hear an orchestra playing. It was a mothball. Oh. So I told Nan about the moths when I went round. She was watching her favourite programme on BBC Wales, Cwm Donkin. It's like Come Dancing, but set in Swansea. And without any dancing. But she was shocked about the moths, because her house is far too clean for moths. You know, in fact, years ago in Sunday school, when I heard that the Lord had created Adam from the dust on the ground, I remember thinking, well, there we are. That proves that Adam came first then. Because if Eve came first and was anything like my nan, there wouldn't have been any dust to make him out of, you know. No, our house is immaculate. Can't fault it. It's a shame you can't say the same about her cooking. No, when I was little, she used to make a birthday cake for me, which was a nice touch. Not a very nice taste. But a nice touch, you know. And the thing is, Nan hates germs, and she thinks food should be healthy, so she never cooks with fat. Disinfectant she uses. So, while it is true to say that Nan's floor is so clean you could eat your dinner off it, it's also true to say that you could use Nan's dinner to clean the floor, you know. So my early experience of cakes wasn't very good. But then at Sunday school, I started to hear about the Holy Welsh Cake of Balaclava. Baked by a lady in West Wales more than 300 years ago. Well, the thought that there was a cake that you couldn't eat, not because it was disgusting, but because it was holy, was one of the most formative experiences of my childhood. Up there with the day I discovered why I was in such pain when I rode my bike. Somebody had stolen my saddle and I was sitting on the metal pole sticking right up, as a matter of fact. Anyway, what I was going to say, years later, at the Church of St. On the third Sunday after the jumble sale, it's my job there to bring out the Holy Welsh Cake of Balaclava and put it on display. What it is about the Holy Welsh Cake is that on one side of it, there's a remarkable likeness of St. Not his face, his private parts. Not very nice, but I think that's probably why nobody ate the Holy Welsh Cake, because it looked quite nice. But the Reverend Harry Lewyer likes to keep traditions going. He takes it all very seriously. I saw him once, and he's all bent over to one side. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Oh, it's Lent, so I'm leaning." He's very devout. Anyway, the Welsh Cake goes on display until the 7th Monday after the 3rd full moon following the northern spring equinox. Unless that's a Thursday, in which case you have to start all over again. Then it's my job to put the Welsh Cake away, back into the cake tin in the pantry, which is next to the vestry. Thank you very much. Here we are. We've got a holy man in the audience. So I'd done that, and then the Reverend Harry Lewyer asked me to clean the stained glass windows. Well, I was scrubbing them for hours. Couldn't get the stain out. And I used holy water. You'd think if anything would shift it, that would, you know. So I stopped for a break then, had a look at the paper. It's a very interesting story. A Neath man who'd campaigned for years to stop church bells being rung on a Sunday morning so that people could have a lie-in, had just been awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. What a great honour. And I thought, well, might as well have my lunch now. Salmon sandwich, because I like salmon. You know, I'm impressed the way that they can swim from thousands of miles away and still find the river where they were born. You know, the only other thing in nature I can think of that equals that is the way my girlfriend Gravel always finds a way home when she's drunk. And I was looking forward to my salmon sandwich. Then the vicar saw me. He said, "Is that salmon?" I said, "It is salmon." He said, "Siadwel, do not eat of the salmon. For it is written that salmon leads to fornication." Well, I was shocked. I said, "No." He said, "Yes. It's in the New Testament." And he got his Gospels out. He does that quite a lot. He got his Gospels out and read Matthew chapter 1, verse 5. Salmon begat booze of Rachab. Obviously a local brew of some sort, he said. And booze begat Obed of Ruth. Obed, obviously an Irish bed, which belongs to Ruth, he said. So it's pure drunken debauchery. No two ways about it. Don't eat that sandwich. And I made the sandwich myself. A couple of slices of brown bread. Well, they were after I dropped them down the back of the stove, put it like that. And I'd buttered them, not with butter. No, I'd used William's middle-aged spread. It's not particularly healthy, but it's for people who don't particularly care. So there we are. So I went home starving, and Gravel said, "Why didn't you do a sandwich?" And I said, "Oh, the vicar wouldn't let me because he said it would lead to fornication." And she said, "Oh." That's interesting. I'm going out tonight. I'll have that now. We'll see if it works. And she ate it. So I had the night in on my own then, and I thought, well, I'll read my book, Haunted Houses of Wales, ghost-written, obviously. But I had to put it down. It was too frightening. I could only get as far as the first word, it. That was enough. I decided whatever it was, I didn't want to know about it. Because I do believe in all that sort of stuff. I've been to a couple of seances, you know, glass upside down on the table and alphabet cards, all that sort of stuff. First one was interesting. Straight away, the glass went to the letter O, and then it stopped. Wouldn't move from there. Then I realised what the spirit was saying. It was saying, oh, which is exactly what ghosts say. So I was totally convinced. Second séance wasn't quite as good. Spirit did get through, but he just kept going on about making a claim for payment protection insurance, so... No, didn't go anymore after that. But I got Haunted Houses of Wales because I'd heard that it was a Scrifbyn Mawr's favourite book. Scrifbyn Mawr, probably Wales's greatest writer, and also a very big fan of the supernatural and all that. In fact, a Scrifbyn was so impressed by Bram Stoker's Dracula, he decided to create a Welsh vampire. And the original one, of course, was called Count Dracula. But Scrifbyn thought calling someone a count wasn't very nice, you know. And also, he wanted him to be an ordinary Welsh working-class vampire, so he called him Mr. Dracula Davis from Trinsaran. There. Of course, in the Welsh language version, he's Dracula Davis. Because, as you know, vampires take a soft mutation. And to make him a proper Welsh vampire, he doesn't drink other people's blood. It's worse than that. Other people's pints of beer he drinks. Yeah. Anyway, the book went so well, they made it into a film. I saw it in the Llansamlet Odious. And then for quite a long time after that, hardly anybody went to the pub after dark. So the pubs had to close down. The one along the road from us, the Bar Stool. It's a theme pub. Not a very nice theme, no. Gravel had a job there. Well, let's not go into it. The business closed down. Anyway, there we are. So as Scrifbyn realised that in the next film, he'd have to give Mr. Dracula Davis a weakness, you know, like the way the original Dracula doesn't like garlic. And by now, Gwilym's savoury products are major sponsors. So in the second film, that's right, yeah. So in the second film, if Mr. Dracula Davis is going for your pint, the way to stop him is to shove a Gwilym's bladder and leek pie in his face. And he'll recoil from that in disgust. As anybody would, actually, because they're not very nice. Oh, so there we are, anyway. It just goes to show the power of popular culture. You know, it only took one person to start playing rugby in Wales, now there's thousands at it. Well, it's not always vampire weather in Wales, you know, we do get some sunny days. I can remember now, years ago, my dad sunbathing in the garden, and he fell asleep with his mouth open. And he was woken up by a blue tit, pecking the fillings in his teeth. He must have thought he was a milk bottle. I mean, he did look a bit like a milk bottle when he took his shirt off. You know, it's quite pale, sloping shoulders. But actually thinking about it, in the morning when Mam opened the front door, she would quite often find my dad on the step. Except a pint of milk isn't usually snoring and surrounded by sick. But in a way, you can understand the blue tits confusion, you know. I like blue tits, and Uncle Nog does. In fact, Uncle Nog won a prize this year at the Royal Welsh Show for having the best bird feeder. I saw it. It's absolutely beautiful. Not a speck of dirt, shining like a shilling on a sheep. It was impeccable. So, useless as a bird feeder, you know, but it did look nice. And he won another prize at the Royal Welsh as well. He trained his sheep to bleat a top C, which is a very high note for a sheep. And the judges said he was to be congratulated for raising the bar. I opened my wardrobe again to see if those moths had gone. They had, but now it was full of weevils instead. Hundreds of weevils. I thought, oh, no, I like animals, but this is a bit much. So I called a company called Humane Pest Control. Everything we do is good and kind, and we never do anything immoral. And the man said, yes, that's right. We don't kill any animals. We just talk to them and persuade them to change their wicked ways. Like a horse whisperer, but for everything. Great. So the man came round. As we went up the stairs, he reminded me that everything they do is good and kind and they never do anything immoral. And I opened the wardrobe. There were the weevils. And the man said, unfortunately, I can't help you. I said, why not? He said, our company motto is, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. So they're still there. Oh, and I found out why there are no birds in Nan's garden. She feeds them. Oh, all right. Here's a quick joke. Here's a quick joke to finish. In a restaurant, man says to the waiter, "Waiter, there's a bee in my soup." And the waiter says, "Yes, sir, it's alphabet soup." Cheerio!
Siadwel was written and performed by John Sparks and produced by Pete Baker. It was an Absolutely production for BBC Radio Wales.
Oh, Siadwel, you are hopeless.